happy moment of harmony. Welcome to my weekly series entitled A Moment of Harmony. If it is your first time here, I am so excited that you are joining me. Please always feel free to go back and check out some previous videos. At this point, we have tons of videos for you to check out. If you are a regular supporter and contributor and engager with A Moment of Harmony, I love you. I need you. You have been rocking with me for a minute, way back from my Facebook days, or even if you've just been more consistent since I've been on YouTube, I want to say welcome. I love you. I'm grateful for you. And I'm happy to share another Saturday with you. Now, this Saturday is so important because today is, if you're watching in real time, and even if you aren't watching in real time, at some point you'll be able to see that today is Saturday, September the 24th, and it is a very special day. Peace, love. It is a very special day because there are multiple people that I know and that I am close with that were born on this day. And I know lots of people that I love and that I'm connected to, but I don't know a day other than September the 24th where everyone that I know on that day, I know a lot of people on that day, and they're all incredible beings. So this is like a happy birthday Saturday. Happy birthday to Dr. Max Tracy Ragland. He has been an extremely powerful force, an extremely incredible twin flame to my life for many years now. So happy birthday, many more. Happy birthday to my Menzinga. This is a powerful sister. Rolls, rocks, gets, clocks. She does the daggone thing. I hope she has a wonderful day. We have known each other for many years as well. And her birthday is today. Happy birthday to the young warrior queen, Aaliyah. I'm not sure if Aaliyah checks me out on A Moment of Harmony, but if she ever decides to, if the young queen ever is like, hey, I'm trying to get myself up in a course, know that I wish you some birthday love, great growing, great grandness, turning 20 years old today. The time is flying. When I met her, she was definitely like 11 or 12, so this is crazy, bananas. But happy birthday to some amazing souls. I think that the 24th of September is a really special holiday. Again, there's not another day of the year that I know so many people born on one day, and all of them are great. So definitely giving love and light and support and happy birthday blessings to them. I also want to say, hey, guess what? It's September. We're coming up on the end of September. All of my Moment members, all that support and engage, I want us to get ready to go ahead and rock out. I have a moment coming up entitled Young Moments. It is not a virtual moment. It will be an in-person moment where we are going to be gathering to take all of the young women in our lives, young women that we're associated with that we know, and we're going to be taking them to see the Woman King and then out to eat and to dialogue. So we got a young moment coming up. I would love for all of my moment members to come and share their wisdom and expertise as we take these youngins out and talk about some pride and being ourselves. So keep that in mind as September is coming to a close. Now, what is today about? Today is a very special show. It really means so much to me. I feel like there are two areas in my life where there is constant growth, where I'm learning on my own. I have not been really given all the fundamentals to it, and I feel like I'm learning as I go, and they are probably the most important areas of life, period. But for me, they are motherhood and marriage. Okay? Motherhood and marriage. Those are the two areas of my life that are constant when it comes to growth and development. That, again, I did not have a blueprint for that works for me, or a blueprint for that I think was healthy. So I am always learning, always receptive. And now I am here to share some of my thoughts and experiences on the second part of that. Today's show is entitled Marriage Moments. Dun, 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 dun. Marriage. Oh my gosh. So this is going to be something I really want us to take time and go through today. So this moment might run a little bit long, but I really feel like this is one of those very important components, elements of life. Those make or break, whether or not you are married, whether or not your marriage is healthy, whether or not your marriage is in alignment with your mission. Okay, so we're going to be getting into that today. We are in a 32-week series entitled A Matter of Moments. We're at the end of the series, more towards the end of the year. We're going to make sure that we have a book that will be available for purchase, that will match every episode in the series, a chapter per series episode, and we are going to be able to rock it out and be able to really do our healing homework. So stay tuned for A Matter of Moments, the book. We are still in the Matter of Moments series. And when we finish this series, we'll just move right into another series. The next series will be entitled Declaration Series. So we came out of an affirmation series. We're in a Matter of Moments series. We're going to be going into a declaration series. We're going to be popping. We're going to keep on popping, keep on rocking, keep on growing and healing. So thank you for showing up here. Thank you for following along as you have been. Thank you for being involved in our in-person moments and initiatives. Thank you for your love, your support, your chats, and your energy here, right in the actual virtual chat. Whether it's been real time or you've been on down, maybe you caught it on Facebook. Look, I love you all the energy is needed, all the energy is reciprocated, all the energy is going to push us towards better energy. So I love you. Now let's get into these marriage moments, because this is not going to be a quick little moment. I wanted to talk about marriage moments. I wanted us to take this because it takes up such a huge makeup of our lives, a huge part of our lives, a huge part of our existence, a huge part of our healing. And to get morning, my love, a huge part of us getting to where we want to be in life is that complementary aspect. No, y'all, I don't necessarily want to do this show today, but it is on the outline in the agenda, which means the creator put it in my mind at the onset of this creation, and I need to be here with you with it right now. So when we talk about complementary, we're talking about the sun, we're talking about the moon, we're talking about balance, we're talking about Maya. All things have balance. That's the way the creator works. The sky has the sea. The sun has the moon, night and day. Everything in nature has a balance to it. There is life and there is death. There is happiness and there is sadness. There is joy and then there's chaos. All of these, or peace and chaos. Everything has a balance or an opposite that creates a balance somewhere in the middle. When you're talking about extremes. So when we get into, especially nowadays, when there is a lot less focus on marriage, a lot less stamping on marriage, a lot less, I guess, like, what is it? The pertinence, urgency towards being married. A lot of people are like, it's not necessary anymore. The times are changing. And I'm not faulting people who think and are like that. But I do want to just highlight how I believe that marriage is an intended part of your growth, whether you are male or female, that there is a complement in the world, and maybe even complements, because some people aren't meant to be married to one person forever, be it that divorce or a non-traditional forms of relationships. But there are other people or a person that is made, or even a person from chapter to chapter, that is made to help you grow, reflect, and to move forward. We all can do our makeup in the dark, but there's something very different about doing your makeup in a mirror. And the marriage becomes your mirror. The marriage becomes the reflection of who you are and who you are to become in the world. And a lot of us are walking around without a mirror. A lot of us are walking around without a compass, which I believe is the creator in spirituality. A lot of us are walking around without a crew or a village or a home, which I believe are your friends and your support system. So a lot of us don't have a mirror, a compass, a support system. We just are all on the half. And we are not healing. We are not growing. We aren't developing. We can't become what we need to become without all the ingredients. And I do personally believe that at some point in each individual's life, marriage is a very pertinent ingredient to your growth. I believe that a healthy, growing, incredible marriage will move you into a betterness of yourself. It will move you into another existence of who you are. Maybe that's not where you are right now. Maybe that's not on your mind right now. I'm saying that is okay. But I am just here in this moment to talk about our perspective on it, what we draw into us. And for those of us that are in marriages, or those of us that are just coming out of marriages, or looking for whatever you are in the grand scheme of things, I want our perspectives to improve to a healthier space so that we're making healthier choices so that we are getting to our mission. And that is the first part to me when it comes to marriage moments, right? The first point is that we are marrying moods and not marrying missions. We are marrying moods and not marrying missions. And what I mean by that is that wherever we are right now in our lives, maybe in our immaturity, in our growth, in the trauma that we were exposed to. Some of us were exposed to good marriages, some of us were not. But wherever we are in the grand scheme of things, we are marrying people based on the mood, right? I feel like being in love. I feel like I'm lonely. And we're getting into these mood marriages, that the marriages are all about temperament, or even relationships that are leading to marriages. So me, myself, I was legally married one time for 7 years. And I gave really a great deal of loyalty and dedication. Back in those days, I was heavily practicing Christianity. I am more spirituality based now. I have no beef with any other religion. I respect and love all religions. If it gets you closer to the Creator, I think it's great for you. But that's where I was at that time. So I was very much devoted to like marriage over everything. And I definitely had some unhealthy ideas and some really immature ideas about marriage at the time as well. And of course, my ex husband did too, because we divorced after 7 years and 3 children. I left that marriage saying I will never get married again. I understood that marriage was not a child's game. Marriage is not for the faint of heart. Marriage was not what I thought it was when I left that 7 year marriage. And I kind of was like, never again. No more children, no more marriage. I was definitely in a broken space. But as I began to do my work and heal and grow, I really realized marriage for what it was. It wasn't about a mood. Marriage was about my mission and my purpose in life. And the mission and the purpose of the person that was created as my complement, and the mission that we have together. And that at some point I realized that there's going to be a part of me that's not developing, that's not growing, and that's not becoming its best if I am not linking up with a healthy connection, complementary relationship. That the sun is great and beautiful and it shines all by itself, but how burnt out would it be? How insignificant would it be? How will we not even appreciate it, or even really die from the lack of balance of the moon? And I realized that life will work like that. So I eventually got into, I would say, many years later. I divorced when my children were very small. When my children were really big, I got into a more serious relationship, a more mature relationship, of course, as an adult. And we did refer to each other as husband and wife. And that is because we set an intention early on when we met each other that we were not going after no boyfriend girlfriend situation. Not that that's bad or I'm speaking about it. I do believe take your steps and acknowledge where you are. But just based on our prayers and our manifestation, we had felt at that time that that's what we had drawn together. And so we referred to each other as husband and wife, but had not legally done that. And so I do understand that for those people, because I know a lot of people get hot, like, you call yourself your husband, but you haven't. I know that the whole process is special. I'm definitely not negating or belittling or minimizing the process of marriage. I get it. So, but I'm saying that in those in-between times, in the actual legal marriage, in the times of being broken and, hooking up and dating, and then going into a more serious relationship that was more marriage centered in its behaviors or its patterns, I am saying, here is what I have resolved. When it comes to marriage, and why our marriage moments are causing us to suffer, why our marriage moments are causing us pain and strain, why we are being stunted and halted, even though we are supposedly having reflections of ourselves living in the house with us or connected to us, is because our marriage moments aren't being perceived holistically. They are coming with jagged, broken edges, misperceptions, theories that don't work for us, counterproductive patterns, Eurocentric mindsets. It's just like a lot of things are happening to our moments that don't work for us. And our marriage moments are some of the most important moments of our lives. Again, not that you can't be great single, not that you can't take care of your life, but I'm talking about nature and intention. I do believe that we were intended naturally to connect with a compliment, build, grow, and have a maximum experience, a maximum quality type of experience due to marriage and marriage moments. So, when we talk about, like I said, moods over mission, excuse me, y'all grant me some mommy mercy. Mommy's doing her live. Are you okay?
I'm actually something.
Okay, but yes.
Mommy, can we go upstairs and get our car?
Your car. Your car.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Upstairs in cash room.
You can go ahead. Please close that door. Let mommy do her moment, and I'll be right with you. Okay? Please let your sister know that you came down here. Can you tell her that? Thank you. I love you. All right, y'all. Mommy mercy. Please have mercy. All the mercy. Woo, child. Okay, marriage moments. So, again, the moments that come into when I said we're marrying out of mood, we're marrying out of what we saw, we're marrying based on TV, we're marrying based on what we're seeing with other people, other experiences, comparative experiences. We are marrying based on our moods. This is what I feel like. This is my type. This is what I want my life to be like. This is what I want it to look like. He looks like, he smells like, he talks like, she looks like, she feels like, she is like. The mood, right? The moods of marriage. And the moods change. So marriages are changing. Marriages aren't necessarily being built on solid foundation like mission. When we're coming together, what I'm learning and growing in maturity is that we're coming together for the mission. I'm not saying you should not be attracted to your mate, your potential mate, your current mate, your manifesting mate. Yes, you should be attracted. You should have things about them that are external that drive you crazy and want you to be with them. But when you talk about marriage and connecting and uniting with them long term, it should be about the mission. Well, what say you, Mama Harmony, if I don't know what my mission is? I say you are not ready for marriage. I say it is not the time to be married. It is not the time. I don't think that we go and get married and then find ourselves. I think that we find ourselves. We're always on a journey of exploration to finding ourselves, and that our intent to marrying is to have completion and complementary. So as I am continuing to learn and to grow and to develop, I am going to have someone that is going to be conducive, that is going to reflect the direction of my growth and my development. So if you are at the stage, this is what I would have wished I would have known when I was 18 years old getting married. If you don't know your mission, if you're not clear on at least the blueprint of your mission, you cannot be clear on the blueprint of a marriage, because you're marrying a mood. You're marrying my first kiss. I'm marrying my first experience of this or that. I'm marrying my idea. I'm marrying my parents' projections. I'm marrying the thoughts and the ideas of the world around me and the community around me. But I am not marrying my mission, because I don't know that yet. I haven't developed that. I haven't spent good intentional time in that. And unfortunately, culturally, we don't have our cultural rites of passages and other things in place. Well, we would have been considered these things a long time ago. We would be on mission to look for these missions a long time ago. Unfortunately, it is, we're looking for Prince Charming. We're living in a Disney Channel love. We are romanticizing complementaryship, and that is not what it is. So we are getting into marriages and relationships, and we are being devastated, broken down, hurt, cracked all up in pieces, because again, it's not our mission that we're asking someone to marry, and it's not our mission that we're looking for in someone else to marry. How does this person complement my purpose? And if I don't know my purpose yet, marriage is not where I am supposed to be. But once I know my purpose, if I am a helpmate, if I am a revolutionary, if I am the next person to bring about change or growth, if I am the person that's going to be the nurturer and I just want to bring balance to things, I need to know my mission and my purpose before I connect to someone, because my mood will change, my mission will only grow. Your mood will change, but your mission will only grow. Marry your mission to not marrying moods. A lot of times with marriages today, why I felt like marriage moments is a great moment for us to dialogue with. A lot of times in marriages today, marriages are literally big balls of obligation, responsibility, history, children, and routine. I'm going to run that back to you. Marriages, the average marriage, not every marriage, but the average marriage that most people are not even really content in, but that have accepted, are living in, are dwelling in, or even some people are miserable in. The average marriage is a big ball. It consists of, its components are purely obligation, responsibility, children, history, and routine. And trust me, I know what that feels like. I know how that goes. That is a ball of suffrage. Obligation, responsibility, children for the most part, history, and routine is what makes marriages up today, is what people are living off of, is what people's expectations or their standards have reduced to when it comes to marriage. Excitement is a plus. Romantic or whatever people want to call it. A lot of people don't like to use the term romanticism or romance. But whatever it is that you call for connection and divine connection, those are privileges. Happiness is a privilege, joy. But the standard average marriage has been reduced to those components. And that's why I said, no, we need to have a marriage moment. Because how are we going after our dream jobs? How are we going after our dream existences? How are we going after our dream connections and relationships? And one of the most supreme connections in your life, which is the person you choose to reflect and connect your life to, is in suffrage. And a lot of us are going to be like, hey, well, at least I have someone. Or again, history. We're staying for purposes that are not in alignment with our purpose. We're in long-term situations, or we are having soul connections, and we are having years and years and years of connections with people under the banner of marriage, cloaked in the components of obligation, responsibility, history, children, and routine. And these are all good components to a marriage. But when they become the sole components, the sole ingredients and the makeup of your marriage, it becomes a very counterproductive, non-divine entity that you now are expected to operate out of in your fullest of self. So whether you are married, whether you want to become married, whether you have never been married, you're so young, you're still in college, your marriage years aren't here yet, listen up. Those marriage moments are a great part of your mission moments. If marriage is important to you, if it's something that you aspire to look towards one day, if it's something you want to maintain, fix, or heal today, keep in mind that if that's your marriage I just described, you are not maximizing the moment of your marriage. You are, and I'm not saying that you're the reason. I'm not saying that you're not trying. But what I am saying, if that is your reality, regardless of who is at fault, both are at fault, some are at fault, whatever, it is not the full maximization of what a marriage can produce. And therefore, you cannot become your fullest self in this chapter that you are in of your marriage. And we want better marriage moments because it is going to be a great part, again, intended part of our healing, intended part of our recalibration. Many of us have childhood traumas we have to heal from. Many of us have some adulthood traumas we're still healing from. The marriage becomes an extreme portal for healing, an extreme portal for growth and development. That complementary connection connects you to so many more higher things, or it breaks your connection to higher things. And so it is time for us to have a moment about it. So again, like I said, those components that I just mentioned: obligation, responsibility, history, children, and routine. If that's all your marriage is, it is not at all what you were divinely intended and brought here to experience when it comes to complementaryship. And you will suffer. Your family will suffer. Your growth, your higher version of self will suffer and never be actually reached if this is what your complementary reflection. So I know I have been under the mistaken theory, in pain and in trauma, been under the mistaken theory that, hey, as long as I'm good, it doesn't really matter if my mate is what I need them to be. It doesn't really matter if they're always on point, if they're doing what I'm doing. As long as I'm doing what I need to be doing, I'm praying, I'm working out, I'm having my sisterhood, I'm being balanced. That's all that matters. This is our second point. Y'all ready? This is the second point in marriage matters. That is not the intention of marriage. Again, I told y'all we've been on this Disney Channel marriage kick, right? We've been on this happily ever after. The divine intention of marriage is for complementary reflection to meet your mission and purpose. I cannot get to a purpose destined for me with a person that is not destined for me. I cannot. My travel partner, when I began to change my ideas about what marriage actually was, not what I was sold on it, not the misconceptions. Like I said, I didn't have any healthy example growing up as a child, so it became what I read in books and what I saw on TV and the people I saw around me. When I realized this is not it, I definitely began to get to the understanding of, like, look, if I'm on a long journey, I cannot consider a long journey with a selfish person who's going to keep all. So let's say we're on some desert hard walk, because marriage is not an easy journey. So we're on that journey and you're selfish. You're going to hide food. You're going to hide water. You're going to think about yourself. I'm going to die. If we're on this long journey and you're a negative, pessimistic, you don't believe in God. But I'm keep saying, as long as I believe in a creator, as long as I'm healthy, as long as I'm focused, you are not going to be okay, because it will become an anchor and a placeholder in your life that will keep and hold you from your mission, because marriage has that primary function of complementing your purpose, moving you towards your mission. That's it. It is not for the coming together of the funds solely. It is not to reproduce and make family solely. It is not to have someone and to not be alone. And a lot of this have been taught to us throughout years, decades. Our grandparents, our aunts, our great grandparents have had these wrong misconceptions from time to time about marriage, this arrangement. And I'm saying marriage is so much more than that. Spiritually, economically, mentally, emotionally, fundamentally, it is just so much more. And that if we don't start shifting the perspective, like I said, whether we're going towards a marriage, whether we are one day manifesting one, whether we're coming out of one, whether we just need to change our perspective for the sake of the energy we're putting out to come back to us, it is a must for us to have a different perception or perspective on marriage, and to approach our marriage moments differently. Get better results for a better life for ourselves and those that we are connected to. So when I say, hey, I know that my mate doesn't is not into all the things that I'm into. I know that we're not on the same page about a certain thing or two, but I love them. Biggest lesson, guys, of all the things I've said so far in this whole half hour I've been speaking: love is not enough for a marriage. I know Cinderella and them told us that it was all magic and sparks. It's great, and trust me, I need it. I can't go on a long journey with someone that doesn't give me all the good feels, because life is too full for me not to have all the great feels to keep me moving, my fire floating. But what I'm saying also is you cannot just love someone because love is infinite. It is an infinite ability. And for most of us, it is a second nature emotion, a second nature reaction. So we could love a lot of people very easily. We can connect genuine and intently to other people. It doesn't mean that's your mission partner. It doesn't mean, again, don't marry, like we spoke of earlier, don't marry in a mood, marry in your mission. Moods change, missions grow. So we need to be very, very careful when we talking about, well, I love this person, so I'm allowing this behavior. I love this person, so I'm accepting this. I love this person, so I'm looking for that. Or love is the primary thing that I'm looking for. Love is a necessary component. I'm not saying just make an arranged marriage, but I'm saying that love is a natural given. It's supposed to be a part of most of your connections. The next part of marriage is your mission. So when you say I love someone and that's all y'all have that's holding you together, you don't have the respect, you don't have the understandings. I want to say fidelity, but every marriage is not about fidelity. Some marriages are open, some marriages are polygamous. So I don't even want to put all those labels on when I talk about marriage moments. I'm just going to say the understanding, mutual. The mutual respect and understandings. There's so much more that goes with that love component because the love alone won't stand, because you can love someone you're not married to. So that doesn't have to change. I'm talking about the mission of marriage, the mission of your life that marriage catapults and contributes to greatly contributes to, and divinely, naturally intended to contribute to. So it takes two pieces of bread to make a sandwich. A lot of times, I feel like our marriage moments are suffering. Our perceptions of marriage are damaged because we are thinking about marriage from this, it's an us perspective. I'm about to say something that is contrary, okay? Again, my experiences, what India Reese say, this ain't the law, it's just my lessons, right? Ain't nothing that I'm saying law. This is just what the creator have given to me. She said something like that, I'm paraphrasing. A lot of times we go into marriage with an us mindset. And I think that is important. One of my favorite couples with the Ellises, they have a new book called We Over Me, or Us Over Me, something like that. I get what they're saying with that. But a lot of times we go in, and the marriage that we're in is about the other person, what they should be, what we want them to be, or it's about a vision of us. And we have not yet established a vision, a standard, and growth of self. So when we come in saying that I don't have to be healed, this is the point of what I'm saying. I don't have to be whole. I don't have to be together. I'm going to get into marriage to make me together. 1 + 1 is going to equal 2. That is not, that is what is making our marriage moments suffer. 2 pieces of bread to make a sandwich. You got to bring your bread. I have to bring my bread. We can't come together and create bread. We're going to be hungry for a long time. And then you can make bread. You can make a sandwich with 1 piece of bread, but it's a half. You're going to be on a half and you'll be hungry very soon. You need 2 pieces of bread to make a sandwich. And a lot of times we mistake the marriage for the ashe. We mistake the marriage for the entity that's going to grow us and heal us and complete us. And it has those abilities, but only for someone that is already in that process, that is committed to that process. You cannot come selfishly. You cannot come broken. You cannot come on the half. You cannot come in your dark, low vibrational vibration and you say, I'm married her because she makes me a better person. I'm going to marry him because he makes me a more secure, stable life. That is not how it goes down, people. That is not what marriage is about. There is a saying in the Christian community called equally yoked. It's either equally or evenly yoked, right? It's a saying that I loved for years and never quite understood up until these late 30s, okay? Equally yoked. That means that no, we don't have to have it all together. No, we don't have to be perfect, but we are coming to bring the same energy. I'm going to keep that energy because my energy is not to put expectations on you and gain from you. And yours is not to put expectations on me and gain from me in that regard. The energy is to come and complement. What I have builds on yours, what you have builds on mine, and we are whole complete together. Okay? Y'all hear all them ers? That's how it works. But a lot of times we're coming and like, I don't want to be lonely. Remember? Married to the mood, not married to a mission. I don't want to be lonely. Or my parents were married. I think I should be. My friends are married. Marriage seems fun. I want to be connected. I want to put my player hat up. I'm tired of being in the streets. I'm getting too old. The mood. You're marrying moods. You're marrying in a mood. You're not marrying a mission. Remember what I said. Moods change, missions grow. Moods change, missions grow. Marry your mission. Even if your mission is to be connected to someone that's complementing that mission, that is connected to your purpose. Be connected to my purpose. You have to be, not my plan. Plans change. You know what? We plan and God laughs. Everyone knows that, right? Plans change. I'm not marrying you because you look good on my plan. I'm marrying you because you look good on my purpose. You look good in my purpose. You complement my purpose. Marry in your purpose, not for your plans. You'll be devastated. You'll be brokenhearted. You'll have a misperception of marriage. If you take this ideology of marriage that has been counterproductive and fed to us, and you digest that and you go looking for that, you'll be sadder than a little bit. So trust. I'm coming in as my best self. And until I am feeling like I am my best self in my chapter right now, because you'll grow, you'll become a better self. But where I am right now, as my best self, that's when I'm coming into a marriage expecting and looking for someone who is their best self. Not where we can connect and make something happen, but because I think that you are great and grand. I feel great and grand. We both have enough to make one sandwich. Again, the marriage moments are being destroyed because we are coming in for some low vibrational, what is it? What is the word? Not temporary. That's the word I look for. Temporary, temperamental, fair weather. We're having some fair weather intentions when it comes to marriage, when really the mission needs to be at part. Because guess what? If you share a mission, you can have matrimony. If you share a mission, if we're both looking for the same type of, we're going to keep going because that's in there. But if we're both looking in a similar direction, we're going to get where we have to go because the bumps are coming. Listen, the challenges are coming with life, period. Single, married, divorced, whatever your lifestyle is, challenges are coming if you're in a realm of growth. Whether you're choosing growth or not, they're coming. But definitely when you say, I want to grow and be my better self, the universe is going to answer that. The challenges are going to rain down on me, and you're going to have to grow. So if that's happening to the individual, imagine what is happening to the two people together. It's coming down. I'm not saying perfection. I'm saying purpose. What is our purpose? Are we acting within our purpose? Is this illuminating my purpose and our purpose together? Because if my purpose is complementary to yours, they won't be the same purpose, but they'll come together and they will make sense together. They will make the moon and the sun don't have to be the same, but they're doing the same thing. They're lighting, they're keeping, they're sustaining. Just got to be able to have that same mission. So understand when we're talking about marriage moments and we're trying to go in on a half, that is not what we want to do. We're going in saying, going into marriage because she's whole, I'm sad, but she's good, or he's strong, but I'm weak. That is not it. Not saying that we can't be strong and weak in different areas. That's complementary. But a lot of times we're going in for a savior. We're going in for low vibrational moods. We're going in for different reasons other than the purpose on our lives. And then the plans are changing and the moods are swinging. And we can't swing with it because the mission and the purpose weren't at the forefront. So here's the second thing. When it comes to marriage moments, now this is going to be one of the biggest part of marriage moments when I talk about our marriage moments being so primary to our health, our healing, our development, and our mission. Remember, I think this is a divine intention on life. No slight if you didn't choose to get married and you're not for it and you don't want to do it. This, again, my thoughts that marriage is divinely intended. I think you divinely are intended to have a complementary to reach your maximum potential of existence. My thoughts. When we are saying that we want to go into those places and into those operations, one thing that I think we are not doing is constant re-evaluations of our marriages. Many of us are working, y'all. I'm back in the corporate world. I'm back in the office. Oh my gosh. But one thing we know about the workspace are those annual, monthly, weekly, biannual evaluations. They are evaluating your behind back to back to back to see if there needs to be updates, changes, if your performance is up to expectation from the beginning of your assignment. So again, what is it called? Your work description. So if we have a work description, we have a work description. As a marriage, I have a description, my job description. That's what I'm looking for. My job description. Those evaluations are constantly made at work to change your upgrade and analyze your alignment with your job description. If your marriage has a purpose and a mission, and you're not reevaluating it, reacquainting your marriage frequently, you cannot be checking to see if you are still in alignment, if things are changing, if things need to be upgraded. Because we know with those reevaluations at work, sometimes we're getting raises because we're doing more than we were doing a while ago. And I'm saying that needs to happen. Does my marriage require more patience this year than it did last year? Does my marriage require more grace? Does my perception on marriage need a revamp? Maybe there's something, but I don't know if I'm not reevaluating. This is what's going to happen when you're not reevaluating. Because we talked about those two people that come together as one. And we talked about why we need to be equally, evenly yoked. Because what is happening is that people are growing in marriages, but they are growing into different directions. That's exactly what happened in my first marriage, because I'm always intending to grow. I always am at a mission to grow. Literally, if I'm not growing, I'm dying, and that's how I feel within my soul. I'm on a mission, right? I'm on a mission to move forward. Growth hurts marriages. Oh, what, Mama Harmony? What are you saying? That growth hurts marriages? Growth hurts marriages. If you are not growing together, if you are not growing in tandem, you will outgrow your mate. You will outgrow your previous circumstances. Now, you have marriages where everybody's intention is not to grow and to gain and to build. Some people are very content in just the fact that they have someone. That's a mood, that's not your mission. Some people are very content and just that they have the history, the obligation, the responsibilities, the children, the routine. Those are moods. It's not your mission. Those are our foundation. It will not take you into a future. It would only hold you. But you need motion in your mission. And you need motion in your marriage. And if your marriage has motion, you better stop frequently to reevaluate, because growth can hurt your marriage. If you start growing, your partner is not growing. It's how growth works. If you start growing and they start growing, but in different directions. If your growth is at an expedited rate, if your growth is, again, towards a different mission, come on now, I'm saying the same thing. growth will hurt your marriage. So I'm saying that. So what am I saying when I say that growth is absolutely 100% necessary for you to reach your highest level of self, but growth will hurt your marriage. I mean, do not get into a marriage with someone whose goal is not to reach their highest level of self. Fear, trauma, childhood trauma, history, pain, all those things. People will talk a good game. I can't tell you how many gift of gab frogs I've kissed. People will talk a good game about wanting to grow, about wanting to be their best, and will still operate in low vibration, still operate in negativity, still operate in pain, still project pain. And while that is happening, and you are working, this is male or female, your compliment, you are working deliberately to change your words, change your thoughts, change your actions. You're working in this way. While that is happening, you are growing. Your marriage is dying anytime you are not growing together. Now, what some marriages will do, some people will halt that growth so that they can catch up. They won't leave. Some people will try to speed up and what is it called? Maybe falsify, exaggerate, or mock growth so that they feel like they're getting. Let me tell you something. You can never trick divine energy. You can trick people on the outside of the world. You won't trick people on the inside of your world when y'all are living together. So if you're slowing down for someone, and you have that grace, but you're slowing down for someone that you know is trying to move forward, remember your mission. Is it something you can handle? Is it something that your mission can handle? But a lot of times we are growing at a rate, those of us that are intending and trying to grow, we're growing at a rate that we're not even cognizant of. And so those that are falsifying growth, we're pretending to grow because we see our mate reading. We see our mate stop using profanity. We see our mate's diet changing. So we're like, oh, let me try to look like. Listen, what's your mission? Because you're still operating in a mood of competitiveness, a mood of fear. You're still operating, okay? I'm saying your mission. And that's why we come together in the beginning with a mission, and we're not on the move. We don't have to face that inevitable point in your marriage of like, we do not want the same things. We are not going in the same direction. And again, when I say the same thing, I don't mean identical needs, identical desires. I'm meaning our mission is the same. The mission is power. The mission is respect. The mission is love, is life, is joy, is illumination of happiness. You got some, listen, you have some people that say they want one thing. We know this, but they are always exuding something else. That goes both ways. So know the mission for what it feels like. So the constant reevaluation. I have family meetings often with my children, but marriage meetings, those constant sitting and having those meetings and being like, let's reassess. This was our job description. As a husband, as a wife, how are we still working in alignment with that? Does some things need to be readjusted? Sometimes we're not doing that, and then life is happening to us, and those marriage moments are whipping our ask me later. So we get into like maybe like you said, COVID hit. Here is the job description for you. Here is the job description for me. We are now requiring a new revamping. So when I needed you to be more patient, I now need you to be more hands-on. Last year I needed more patience. This year I need more support, more affection. I'm saying, and then it can go deeper than those physical needs. But are we reevaluating? This is what we looked like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 3 months ago. This many months later, this is where we are and this is what we need. Have those constant reevaluations, guys. Growth will hurt your marriage. Growth will move you and push you towards your greater self, but can kill your marriage if your marriage is not in alignment with your mission. And all too often, we are just putting that to the side, minimalizing the weight of that in our marriage and in our lives, and not really understanding that if you are slowing down for someone, or you are falsifying to keep up with someone, and y'all are not growing at a pace that's working for both of you, you're hurting. You're hurting yourselves. You're hurting your marriage. So when I say that growth can hurt your marriage, my mom, you saying that we need to both be on the same workout kick? We both need to be on the same healthy diet kick. We both need to be going to church all the time. Now listen, I'm saying something similar to that. So don't negate it altogether. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying, well, I am saying no, you're not I'm not saying you're marrying yourself, but that you're in a marriage with yourself. When I say growth, it doesn't mean we both want the same job. We both are, communicating with the same creator or what we identify as the same. I'm not saying everything is identical. I'm saying that we are growing, not identically, but we are growing at the same rate, in the same direction, and with the same intent. We're growing at the same rate, in the same direction, and with the same intent. We cannot assure that without reevaluation of the job descriptions in your marriage. You can only assume that what we talked about 10 years ago still stands. That you feel the same way about loyalty. You feel the same way about children and money. Some people feel differently about children after you've had a couple of them. And we say, it's okay for the children to sleep in the bed. Or it's okay for the children. Then you start to see the toll it takes on your marriage. Reevaluate. We say it's okay for travel. It's okay for friends. It's okay for these things. In the beginning, life changes, finances changes, goals change, and we have not sat down to reevaluate our marriage and its foundation. And you're growing and understanding life differently and reacting to life differently. I'm growing and understanding life differently and reacting to life differently, and we're going in different directions. When I say grow together, I very specifically mean in rate, direction, and intention. You don't have to be doing the same things I'm doing, but you must be growing as frequently as I'm growing, or we gonna have a pally. Something is going to happen. It's gonna show up very clearly. You're not as interested in our future, or you're not as interested in our finances. You're not as interested in our intimate life, in our intimacy. You're not as interested in our emotional health as a family or as a couple. It's going to show. We're not growing at the same rate. I have more care towards this thing than you do. We're not growing at the same rate. We're not moving in the same direction. My goal, my next goal is not your next goal. I'm talking about collectively. I'm not talking about 5 pounds. I'm not talking about a pay raise, your individual goals, but I'm talking about the direction, the overall direction that we're going in. It is not the same. You are good with us being right where we are. This is good for you. If we don't ever move, if we don't ever grow in communication, if we don't ever grow in understanding, you think this is straight. But my direction is like further than this. We're not in the same direction. And intent. Woo! Y'all, somebody give a big hand clap for intention. Intention. If we are not growing in intention, what are you intending for your marriage? Are your intentions for me to be a loved wife, to be a secure wife, to be a happy, healthy wife? Are my intentions for you to be a loved husband, a secure husband? There are actions that you will not partake in if you have the similar intentions. We might go about things differently. We speak differently. We think differently, but we intend the same. And that's going to change the direction. I intend for you to be loved and to know that you're loved. I intend for you to walk out into the world whole and complete. And because I have that intention, regardless of how I do it, what my methods are, what I think about it, where I'm learning from, where I'm going from for my resources, that's all individual. But my intention is in the same direction as yours. I used to always use this example when it comes to intention, rate, and direction. I always used to use this example. I was one of my children's fathers. He grew up in a domestically violent home. Ashe. He grew up in a domestically violent home. And of course, I grew up with a single mother. So we both had some serious broken baggage bringing into a relationship. Child, doomed. But the other side of it is there was a time when we would have a conversation because my thing would be like, you don't want the same thing I want. It was becoming apparent. And his thing, well, you don't want the same things I want, right? We didn't use those kind of words, those words as nice, but that was kind of where we were always ending up in conversation. Upon more digging, what I realized was he had a lot of pride in his parents' marriage that was full of domestic violence and toxicity. And his pride came from the fact that they were older, elders now, and that they lived through that. His thing was, yeah, they could beat each other, they could cheat, they could do all these horrible things to each other, but they lasted. They lasted, and that to me makes them special. His rate, direction, and intention had a lot to do with endurance. My idea of that type of marriage, it was, oh, hell no. That is not a good marriage. That was a horrible marriage. And I think you're dealing with some people that's probably not all that happy. That's my idea, right? People I didn't meet, stories that I heard. And so your idea of this great marriage was endurance, how much you can endure. Mine was how much peace we had. So endurance versus purity was mine. That was our ideas in one relationship. His idea of marriage was marriage in spite of harsh, toxic environments. In spite of it. That was his ideal. No matter how bad things get, we're still here. I was on a whole nother what? Mine's was void of. His was in spite of. Mine's was void of. My definition of a healthy marriage, my outlook of a healthy marriage was a marriage that did not have abuse, cheating, toxicity in it running rampant. I quickly realized we are not going to be growing in any similar direction ever. And of course, we've long since been not an item, but even in just interacting because we have a child together, I am constantly reminded that, whoa, that rate, direction, and intention is very different. We are always going to be growing in different directions. It's not saying that something is wrong with them or something is wrong with you. The only wrong thing is when you know it's wrong and you keep trying to push it together and it's counterproductive to your mission. Because you'll have misery, you'll halt your healing. They'll have misery, they'll halt their healing for low vibrational things in their marriage instead of the higher divine intention of your mission. So constantly reevaluate your marriage. Growing can hurt your marriage. Learn that, youngins, before you get into a marriage. Know that your desire to grow, and your desire to be your best, your desire to be at your tip-top shape, your desire to be the best parent, to constantly reintroduce yourself to yourself season after season after season, can kill your marriage. If that person is not in alignment with those ideals, not behaviors, but at the same rate, in the same direction, with the same intention. Can we grow at the same rate, in the same direction, with the same intention? Okay, we almost out of this. This is going to a long moment, but I did warn y'all at the beginning that this moment is going to be kind of long. So, trial over tradition. How are we going to get into why our marriage moments? How are we going to get them better? Trial over tradition when it comes to marriage. A lot of times we are using these traditional ideals of marriages that are not working for us. Why? Because they have Eurocentric, westernized basis to them. They don't have cultural basis to them. They have generational basis to them. For example, women could not have driver's license or bank accounts or even work for certain periods of times. So the institution of marriage and its operations have changed, but we are still subscribing to old ideals of new operations. Trial over tradition. I'm not saying that traditions don't work, but we cannot have a cookie cutter mind frame for our marriages. So many other things are going to be for what works for us. When I think about marriage, I think about a flow, a fundamental divine flow that makes your life work. A fundamental flow. I think about Tai Chi. What is our flow? My flow won't be their flow. Their flow won't be our flow. And y'all know I'm an air sign, so I'm definitely thinking about the flow of things. I need the flow of things. But just using that as a metaphor for those that may not be all up into the flow. But I think about Tai Chi when I think about marriage. I don't think about perfection, but I do think about some types of ease and harmony. Some type of ease and harmony. Can we work together even when things aren't working? If you're going this way, can I come in this way? I'm saying, but our trial, understanding that your marriage is going to work for what works for you. Having trial over tradition, not with my mother and my father, and they did this, their traumas, their triumphs, their victories, their accomplishments. Listen, we're having generational generational barriers that won't work for us. Sometimes we're also having low vibrational barriers that won't work for us. We have cultural barriers that won't work for us for this marriage in 2022. So trial over tradition. What is going to work for you? Please do not attack or come at or be aggressive with your marriage moments based on what someone else said, did, or what you think should be after this Cinderella story that's been shoved to us year after year after year of existence. Trial over tradition. After all that I've been through, and I've been in the court of love plenty of time, guys. After all that I've been through in the court of love, I now have had a great deal of trial to look at marriage in a way that says, I know that this is what's going to work for me. Because I'm going to take trial over tradition. What works for me is a divine flow. I need a Tai Chi marriage. How's it going? We Tai Chi in it. That was, that's what I think of in my mind when I see Tai Chi. I think about, dang, everybody's not doing everything the exact same on the same, but we are moving. We are moving. You know what I'm saying? Ashe, happy birthday. I gave my birthday shout outs earlier. So I hope y'all got those. I know everybody didn't see them, but you'll be able to rewind and go back. Trial over tradition. All right, we're going to get out of this moment. This is a long moment. I did warn y'all, like I said. So last point of marriage moments. I wanted to spend some time here because, like I said, motherhood, marriage, those are the most constant moving missions of my life when it comes to growth and development. And when I am in my healing sessions with others, that marriage thing is coming up. That complementary thing is coming up. That connecting thing. And why is it having such a huge impact on our lives and our happiness, our healing, and our development? Because it was intended to. It is intended to make you your best self. So anything that was put in place to make you your best self, operated backwards or dysfunctionally, can make you your worst self. Anything put in place to move you towards your best self, if operated backwards or in dysfunction, it will make you your worst self. So let's have some better outlooks towards our marriage moments. So here's the end. This is what we talked about. We talked about having the funky foundations of marriages that aren't working, right? This one foundation that more than half of marriages are working off of: obligation, responsibility, history, children, routine, and that's what marriage is made up, and that's not what we came here for, right? We talked about, the mission of marriage over the moods of marriage, the purposes over the plans, okay? We talked about how don't keep coming into marriages wanting somebody to make you whole. Come up in here with your piece of bread so I can have my piece of bread so we have a whole sandwich together. We talked about constant reevaluation, reacquainting your marriage, reevaluating your roles and your positions, because growing is going to happen. And if you start letting some growth happen at a different rate, that marriage is going to dissipate. Trial over tradition. We just got into that. Look at your marriage from your standpoint with your mate to say, this is what I've been through. This is what I'm moving towards. And it's not about external, it's not about the external influence of marriage. It's about our internal perception and ideas and movements towards our mission of marriage. Trial over tradition, that flow. What is going to make your marriage flow? What makes one person's marriage will not make someone else's marriage. We got to get those Eurocentric mindsets, those westernized ideology, those cultural barriers out of our marriage. We have to get those those generational barriers out of our marriage. We got to get those things. Look, it's not working for us today. What's going to work for us today? Not saying we can't take lessons and learn. Life is all about exposure for learning, but then it's also about tailoring for you. So tailor those trials over tradition. Lastly, it's the last point. We did our whole recap. The last point, when it comes to our marriage moments, whether we're thinking about getting married, whether we're just young in college and we're going to one day want to be married, whether we're in a marriage, whether we're coming out of a marriage, wherever you are, marriage is a part of your divine makeup, whether you choose to partake in it or not. Just like a woman is genetically able to give birth, whether she chooses to partake about it or not, it is a natural, divine, innate part of who she is. And calling me during my moment, I promise. So sometimes when people call me, it glitches, guys. I'm so sorry if that happens when you watch this kind of in real time or a playback. But marriage, I believe, like, okay, I was saying, a woman, it's a divine, innate, natural part of who she is, whether she chooses to utilize it or not. That divine part of herself. I believe if she does choose to ever tap into it, she's going to go into another realm of existence she did not know was possible. Not saying it makes her or breaks her. I'm just saying it adds to her in a way. Marriage, I believe, is the same thing about people. It is a divine, innate, natural part of your process. If you choose to partake in it, if you choose to indulge in it in a divine way, it will take you to another level of yourself. I didn't say make or break. I'm saying take you to another divine level. With that being said, about the divine necessity of this divine institution is to pray over your marriage. Pray over your marriage. It is a divine institution. Sometimes you get so busy looking at that person that is disappointing you, that person that you might be taking advantage of or taking for granted, that person that you are just kind of sick of from time to time. And I know even me, I can be guilty. When I'm upset, I don't know that I necessarily go and pray over my divine institution. But listen, if I was to go into any type of institution that I cherish and revere, I change my mindset. I.e., when I was a child, we were taught we could not go into church angry. We can't cuss in the church. You can't go in there praying any type of way. I know that I have heard people that I'm connected to, going into masjids, or, they have to go in clean and they have to go in pure, and they treat the divine institution as a divine institution. No matter what's going on in their lives. Still got bills they can't pay. Still have people they're upset with. Still have things that they're worried and afraid about. But they treat that divine institution as a divine institution. And I have been very guilty of not always seeing marriage and that type of union in that light. You make me mad. What Cardi B said, we got beef. We got beef forever. I'm not going to say I do forever. I'm not going to say I hold grudges in that way. But always keeping in the forefront that it is a divine institution, that even when you're not going to go into unclean, that you're not going to take your negative emotions and feelings into, that you're not going to be up cussing in. Trust me, y'all, I get it. I am not preaching and teaching. This is an exchange. Excuse me. But remember, that is a divine institution. At the very least, if you cannot clean your shoes before you walk into your marriage, daily. I'm not talking about before you get married. I'm talking about those that are in it, those that need to keep this in mind for when they do get in it. If you cannot clean your shoes before you walk into your marriage, at the very least, and also the very most, pray over your marriage. Pray over your marriage like you pray over that BGE. Pray over your marriage like you pray over your best friends and loved ones. Pray over your marriage like you pray for that promotion. Pray over your marriage like you pray for that ailment or that illness to go away. Pray. You praying over a lot of things that aren't an institution to your life, but your marriage is. You're praying over a lot of things that aren't an institution to your life. Your marriage is an institution. It is a divine institution. Pray over the marriage that's coming. Pray right now over the marriage that's coming. Pray for closure and release over the marriage that was. Pray over the marriage you're in that you're grateful for and or are trying to salvage and save. Pray over it. It is a divine institution. Pray over your marriage. And when you are growing in maturity, watch your mouth with your marriage. Watch your thoughts with your marriage. Watch your actions with your marriage. It is a divine institution. Stop seeing your marriage as that person and that other person. Stop seeing your marriage as that other person. You and me make a divine institution. And the children remind us of this because our children, we become parents to our children, whether we're together or not, like each other or not. And we understand and recognize that an institution doesn't change. We are the parents of such and such. Look at your marriage like that. This is the marriage of these two people. This is the birth of us. We came together. This is the sandwich we made. And let's respect and revere that sandwich. I can't quite stand you today. Quite disappointed in you, hurt by you, frustrated in you. Can't really. What am I thinking? Dealing with all the crap of today. But the institution is divine. At the very least, when I can't part my lips at you, I can't bear to look at you, I'm going to pray over this institution, y'all. Listen, mark my words. I'm going to pray over my marriage. I'm talking cheating. I'm talking lying. I'm talking trauma. I'm talking history. I'm talking lack of romance, lack of intimacy. Pray over it. I'm saying I let all that go and I'm moving towards something and I have fear and I have baggage and I have anxiety. You pray over that future marriage. Creator, I come forth to you at this moment, first of all, to pray over the marriage that is coming to me someday in my life. I am praying over that divine institution that it's on its way to me. That institution that is on its way to complement where I'm going, growing, and glowing in this life. I'm praying over it. That's my last piece. This is probably like the longest. I think we did an hour and a half moment not that long ago. So maybe not the longest moment. But y'all know I had to talk intently about that marriage moment. If y'all know how many healing sessions I have, and yes, you can inbox me for healing sessions, in-person healing sessions. If y'all know how many in-person healing sessions I have just around love and relationships, y'all will understand why I needed to go an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours about this. But I greatly believe, I greatly understand that if we get our marriage moments in alignment, a great deal of our joy, happiness, and healing will fall into place as we are in an alignment with our innate divine destiny towards greater self. You don't got to believe me, but I do appreciate you sitting here and being with me. Just do your own work, grow in your own lane, and you will soon be coming to see some of that stuff Mama Harmony said was on point. Some of you may say all of it. I love you all that think that way. But I love you so much. Thank you for being with me throughout this entire moment, for your patience. I pray this moves you towards a better perspective with self and healing more and more in all the moments of our lives. I will see you next Saturday at 10 a.m. for another Moment of Harmony. I love you greatly. Be blessed.